tooth we're going to be sharpening, this one right here, is the angle of the cutter. We're going to rest that right in it, all the way there. Hey y'all, how's it going? Glad y'all could join us here at Riverside Wooden Farm today. What we got today is a chainsaw sharpener. I have been using a Harbor Freight, one of the grinding stones. You lock the chain in, pull it down. We'll do a review on that later. And I've researched all different styles, all different kinds, and it gets overwhelming sometimes. The steps I have been using is factory chain out of the box, cut till it's dull. I maybe can get 2 sharpenings with a hand file. I'm no expert at no hand file, so after about 2 times, I'll get off. Chain wants to walk, bar wants to kick into the wood, jam up. Y'all know the story. And I've researched all different kinds of chainsaw sharpeners, and there's quite a few out there. I seen one that really piqued my interest, and there's a lot of hype about it. And it is the TIMBERLINE brand. Paid for my money, no sponsors, none of that stuff. Paid for my money, and looks fairly easy. I guess it'd be chainsaw sharpening for dummies. I guess the way I'd look at it. Anyhow, unpackaging. This is what we have right here. This is straight out the box. Comes in a little package like this. Velcro. Just from the packaging, that's one thing I would probably change, to have a snap or a zipper, because it has a belt loop to carry it in the field, and that just looks like it could probably open and fall out walking through the woods, climbing timber, doing whatever you needed to do. And then let's take this out of the package. Looks to be well built. Pretty heavy duty everything. The knobs are big. Got it raised edges on it for grip, it looks like. Very little slack in anything. The tolerance just seemed very tight. I like the way that it has 2 dogs right here. Guess that's the hook on the back of your tooth when you're pulling the chain against it. Cutters, the blades on the chain are offset each way. I guess if it was a single one, it'd want to kind of kick the chain, but with these 2 right here, I could see that being good. Everything else looks tight. Let's see what else we got in here. Hand crank. Well, that's pretty beefy. I like that. Looks like a little overkill, but I like overkill. I'd rather have an overkill part than I would a, see, there's the handle. Probably close to a 1/2 inch thick. I'd rather have overkill than have a broke piece of equipment, so to speak, that you need and you can't use. The carbide cutter comes in this little plastic package. 3/16 is the one I needed for my chain. That thing is razor sharp. Beveled on the end, I guess, to walk into the tooth of the chain and walk in and then get to a certain diameter right there, 3/16. I like how that's done. If your teeth are off, you might have to cut more out of one than another, and that right there would walk in pretty good. I like that. And to put this thing together, here's the Allen wrench. You have a flat, I guess y'all can see that right here. It's flat right here. Put that in under the set screw. Tighten this down. It's starting to rain on me. First time we had a decent rain in months down here. You would slip that in, and one that seems very, very smooth. The tolerance is very tight right there also. There's very little slack, which is good. tight tolerances and the very little slack. Of course, that means for a lot straighter cut on your chain, and takes out all the sloppiness in every one of them's uniform, which you need. Let's get it on the chain and see what the hype's all about. See if it's really worth it. All right, let's get this thing set up. I know you can't see me, but you can hear me. First, for starters, get you zoomed in here. I put just a very little oil on this this cutter on the shaft right here. Paperwork says they recommend it. It helps when it goes in there and turns. Let's get it set up on the bar. I'm assuming watched a couple people do it, and this is what the paperwork recommends. Slip it over your chain. Paperwork recommends slip it over your chain. You put the cutter, whoa Nelly, stay steady. Slide the cutter in like this, as you can see. Slip this over your bar, and the tooth we're going to be sharpening, if you can see that. Try to zoom in a little better. Tooth we're going to be sharpening, this one right here, is the angle of the cutter. We're going to rest that right in it, all the way there. Snug these outside ones up. The middle one is to tighten the chain up. If you've got slack in the chain or the bar, you can tighten that one up just a little bit to steady the chain. Because the main thing we're looking for here is consistency. Loosen this off a little bit so we don't have any tightness at all. Little snug, sweet, but tighten it to where we can still move it. All right. Then what we need to do, see the space right here? You need to make sure that chain's not going to hit that when your teeth come through. We're going to bump this one up just a little bit. Ever so slightly. Keep sliding down on it. Hard to do one-handed. Get it as close as we can down. Tighten that one up a little bit. Make sure our one in the back, we can get that. There's plenty of space for that chain to come through. Okay, everything's moving freely. Nothing should be in a bind. Snug the back one, snug the front one. All that's good. Okay, we are going to pull our chain. Get you zoomed in there. Okay, that's the tooth we need to sharpen right there. We'll get it on the dogs. Slide your sharpener in. See how there's, well, I'll get you back in frame in a second. Plenty slack right there. That needs to be tightened up some. Let's, a couple rotations. Get that link pushing forward. I don't know if you can see it moving forward. Go a little bit at a time. We're going to keep going until that, okay, we're snug right there. It won't go in anymore. And from there, let's get a little tiny bit more. Okay, from there, as you rotate this thing clockwise, rotate the handle clockwise. That's the way the cutter is made to cut, rotating this handle clockwise. We're gonna remove material and sharpen that tooth. Set you back up and we'll get to that. See how it does. Okay, I have you zoomed in as much as I can. Let's see if we can make some metal shavings. Pull it out and rotate as you insert. Rotate. Cutting very smoothly right now. And as that bevel works by, it's going to get to the full size of the cutter and get to where we need to be. If anything's in a real tight bind, you may need to do a little adjusting. Nothing should be in a bind. Okay, everything just got free, and I don't know if you can tell, there's a lot of metal shavings right there. Cut very smooth, no grabbing. And imagine the next time you do this, it'll be much smoother because you will be on that angle. This thing only sharpens at 30-degree angle, which is stock for most chains. Cuts on the 30-degree angle, so we get true back to the standard thing, just the factory settings. Let's pull this tooth out and give it a look and see how it did. Let's pull this tooth out and get zoomed in and see how it did. All right, from first glance at this, it has done seemingly well. There we go. We can get zoomed in here on that tooth. Very shiny because it sharpened it even all the way through. It's like it cut the gullet as it needed to be. Without a gullet, you ain't cut. It's like it did pretty well. We can look at a factory tooth right here. It's a factory sharpened tooth, just chain has never been sharpened before. This one right here. And then we look at the one we just sharpened. Very similar. Maybe just a tiny bit less gullet. But going by feel, she's gonna cut. Let's get this chain finished sharpening. We'll put it in some wood and see how it does. All right, that didn't take long. That didn't take long at all to do those few. Clean some of the metal shavings off of this. By the way, this is, I believe it's tungsten carbide. Let me see what the pack says. It's a carbide cutter. They sell these in every size that you could possibly need. For my specific chain use, I need the 3/16. They're expensive, so take care of them. I say expensive. Now on to the other side. I'm gonna have to reset the tooth pressure to get to the carbide cutter lined up. I've always been taught to sharpen from the short going out to the long. That I'm not really sure on. I do some research and leave that in. Sharpen in to out is what I've always sharpened. May not make a difference on this cutter. We'll see. Oh, you can't. You can't. So I had it set up. As you can tell, that's definitely my first time using this thing. I've always sharpened chains and been told to sharpen chains from the inside out. Well, of course, I went to flip this thing around, and you can't do that. Once it's set in position, because your dogs right here, your chain, your stops only work in one direction. So, my fault for not reading instructions a little better, but hey, what man does? Don't read the paperwork. Not all of us like to read the paperwork. We just like to play it by ear. And that's what I just done. Made a little mistake, but hey, we learn. Now let's get everything all set back up like we need. Which, in reality, don't take a whole lot of time. Alright, now we set back up. Just got to adjust the tooth back pressure. Push that into the sharpener, as we have been done. Let's get to filing. Looks like I've been in the dirt with this chain quite a few times. Ain't the best thing for them, but it happens. One thing to remember, don't force it in there too hard. On that tooth right there, it was definitely cutting really hard. And it says it was tend to happen the first time you sharpen your chain with it to try to get all your angles right. That it was a good possibility that that would happen. There you go. The tip of that's where I like it, right there. Seems to be doing well right there, right before it gets through. That's where I set it to where it starts getting tight. As we crank it in a smooth motion, it's cutting very good and smooth right there. Continue to cut. You can see the metal shavings coming off. It's got a little tension on it. On the crank handle, it has a little tension. We're going to keep on going in. We'll stop right there, rotate it, and it keep getting easier and easier. When you feel all the tension let off, you don't have to quit spinning it. Pull it right back out of there. I don't know if you can see that tooth. Come out very good. Okay, my first overall impressions of this Timberline sharpener is it's very easy. Once you get it set up and get it how the paperwork says and get it how you like it, it's very easy. Looking at the chain, feeling these teeth, very sharp. The cutter does well, everything's smooth. I really don't have any complaints. The only thing I would change is the carrying case. Being in the field, I have a good feeling that right there. One stick, one limb, chainsaw running, you never hear it. Maybe trip, fall. Even though it's orange and easier to find, you may be hard to locate it. Who knows where to fall out. But anyways, a button, a snap, a zipper would be recommended. Let's make a cut and see how she does. Well, I can tell you, my first impression is if you don't know how to sharpen very well with a hand file, or if you do, just need a quick sharpening, go get yourself one. Very impressed. The main reason why I needed to sharpen that chain, not only was it dull, hit the wood and it would walk. Maybe hit some sand or rocks or something in a previous cut somewhere and made the angles off on the chain. That's a new chain that has just been run till it was not really cutting anymore. But it was walking, pulling, jamming my bar. As you can see, I just made 3 quick cuts in about a 14-inch water oak. Cut straight, cut smooth. And looking at the wood chips, you can see there some pretty good chips there. I like it. Very impressed. Need a quick saw sharpening. Take the guesswork out of it. Well, thank y'all for stopping by and checking us out. Like I say, highly recommended. If you hadn't already, please like and subscribe. We got more videos like this to come. Maybe help somebody out. I'm very impressed with this, by the way. Go get yourself one. But with that being said, it's raining. I'm fixing to get out of the rain. Y'all come back, you hear? Before I got this Timberline, I looked at a few other videos and did a little research, and the cheaper ones, of course, they are cheaper, seem to wear out quicker, and I think they run around the $20 range. I think this Timberline one is around $50, if I'm not mistaken. Very worthwhile. Worth your money. Go get you one. Takes the guesswork out of everything. Little setup hiccups here and there that I made. But other than that, wasn't too bad.